Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm changing the front left tire on my 1952 Ford 8N tractor. I already had done the right tire at this point and it's time to get the left tire done. Decided to pull out the camera and film this little project. Starting off, we got the Bauer half-inch impact, removing all the lug nuts. I don't know what they were torqued at. I know I was the last one to pull these tires off when I changed out the spindle bushings. I don't know what I torqued them at, but broken loose, nice and easy. Now I'm getting the tire off and hauling it into the workshop. The really unfortunate thing is that I actually have one of those manual tire changers from Harbor Freight, but I don't have any concrete that I've mounted it in. I've been tempted to just pour a small pad next to the shed here just to mount that thing so I can work on tires whenever I need to. But the problem is that it's not going to be permanent. I know eventually where I want to mount this thing, so I'd hate to put the money in and create the little cement pad to put this thing on for a temporary measure. But anyway, we took out the valve core, and now I've got my shop press here that I actually made a little tire bead breaker thing that, yeah, it's not really that great. I just kind of threw it together and probably a half hour welded it together to break the bead on tires using my 20-ton shop press, also from Harbor Freight. And usually it works pretty good. It does work quite a bit better with smaller tires, as that's kind of what I made it for. But I have even broken a car tire, a couple of car tires actually with it, some larger tires. But this tire was just so darn stubborn. I had to go over it several times with the bead breaker, and I just could never get it. So I had to try and pry it with the tire iron. Going over it several times, I finally decided to just turn off the camera and not film it because I didn't know how long it was going to take, but eventually I did get it broken. Like I said, this tire was really stubborn. This wheel was really stubborn compared to the other one. Everything went pretty smooth and quick with the other tire. Everything fought me the whole way, of course, when I was filming it here. But I've got 3 tire irons, and I just take the tire iron out of the middle and keep grabbing and popping them up with the kind of the hook-shaped end. And it all comes off pretty quick and easy. These old dry-rotted front tractor tires, at least on an N-Series tractor, seem to be pretty easy to remove. At least they were on this tractor. I think the tires themselves are pretty soft, and these are definitely kind of worn and thin, so they weren't too bad to work with once the bead was broken. Except for the fact that the tube was also pretty difficult to work with because it was just stuck. Like there's a lot of rust and other stuff just caked up inside of the tire, in between the tube and the tire, really creating a bond between the tube and the rim and the tube and the tire. So everything got really stuck together, and it was a little bit difficult to yank out. But eventually got the tire off all the way, got the tube out. Then I took the original Bauer cordless angle grinder and I cleaned up all the edges of the rim and wire brushed all the rust off, and just got all the little rough spots off to make it to where hopefully we don't wear a hole in the tube inside of the new tire, and also hopefully we can keep everything from getting real sticky. And I just took a rag there with some soapy water from this car wash cannon that I keep with my auto detailing and cleaning stuff here in the shed, and I just rubbed it around to help make it a little bit easier to put it on the rim, put the tire on the rim. And I don't know if you've ever seen this method, if you've done at-home tire repair or tire changes, but you just take a pair of vice grips and stick it on the end of one, and then kind of work it around and move one of the other vice grips around, locking it in each time, making sure the tire doesn't slip back up while you try and work it all the way around, and it works pretty well. And because this tire the beads are so close together, I ended up just putting the whole tire on, and then I had to remove one side of the bead back off so I could start stuffing that tube back in again. And that tube was another one of the challenges of this tire. I don't know if it was just the wrong size that sort of worked, so somebody put it in there because they had it, or what exactly the deal is, but this tube was pretty difficult to stuff inside compared to the other one. I feel like the other one took me maybe 5 minutes. I think I fiddled around with this one for, I don't know, at least 10 or 15 minutes. But I took my valve stem puller and I attached it to the valve stem coming out of the tube. Normally those are meant to pull a valve stem through a tubeless tire, But I put it on there so that valve stem couldn't come back through the hole while I was trying to stuff it in the rest of the way. Then I just added a little bit more soapy water to make it a little bit easier to put the side of the tire that I had to take back off to stuff the tube in. I put a little bit around it to help working in a little bit easier, and that of course helps. It's not the same thing as tire lube. I worked in a tire shop, I've mentioned several times on YouTube, when I was in high school, and that was definitely some better stuff, but a little bit of soapy water is absolutely better than nothing. So I removed the valve stem puller and then reinstalled the valve core into the tube, and we got it all aired up. I put it up to 20 psi. I find, at least for myself, that that's a pretty ideal pressure rating for the tractor to run at. I don't know really what you're supposed to run them at, but I've ran them at several different pressure settings, and I think 20 works for me. I think it's pretty good settings. So now I've got two brand new shoes on the front of this Ford 8N. I use that blade to turn a pile of compost that you can actually see in the background there, and works great. Use this tractor all the time. I can't believe how many things I have use for a small tractor for. Of course, a nice subcompact utility tractor with a front end loader would probably serve me a little bit better, and that also costs about 6 times more than this old tractor cost me, if not even more than that. It does do the job. Thanks everybody for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you aren't a subscriber, make sure you click subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video.